What's good, YouTube? Quasar here. Today I'm going to be bringing you my Star Seraph Satellarknight deck profile. So going right into it, play 3 copies of Deneb. Deneb is your main searcher of the deck. You obviously want to be playing 3, especially since now Rhoda went down to 1. Whenever she's summoned, you get to add another Tellarknight from deck to hand. 3 copies of Altair, essentially like a wolf bark of the deck. You get to special summon another Tellarknight from your graveyard in defense mode. But when you use his effect, you can only attack with Tellarknight monsters. Play 2 copies of Unakalhai. She's like your Foolish Burial. Whenever she's summoned, you get to dump a monster from deck to grave. 2 copies of Vega. Whenever Vega is summoned, you get to special summon another one from your hand. And for the 1/0s for Tellers, I play 1 copy of Sirius, 1 copy of Alsam. Sirius, whenever it's summoned, it's sort of like a Pot of Avarice. You get to target 5 Tellarknights in your grave, shuffle them back into your deck, and then draw a card. This is really good for recycling your Altairs and even like your extra deck Tellarknight monsters. And Alsam is just simply when it's summoned, inflict 1000 to your opponent, so that's like 1/8 of the duel right there. So if you can summon this guy multiple times in a duel, just like through even like Altair after it's in the grave, you're just inflicting like 2,000-3,000. So you're getting like a good jump on damage right from the start. So that's it for my Tellarknight lineup. For the Seraphs, I play 3 copies of Scepter. Scepter, whenever it's summoned, you get to search for another Star Seraph. The only other Star Seraph I play is Sovereignty. And then Sovereignty, whenever a Star Seraph is summoned, you get to summon it from your hand and then draw a card. So essentially, like if you have both these in your hand, you can go into one of your rank 4s that needs 3. So you can just summon it, search out another copy, special, and then use the copy you just added, special again. You're going to get to draw 2 because of Sovereignty's effect. And then once you overlay, if you have Scepter as a material, you get to pop a card and then draw a card. And that ability also stacks. So if you were to use all 3 of your Scepters as overlay materials, you get to pop 3 cards and then draw 3. So that's a +6. And my last monster I'm playing is 1 copy of Honest, because like honestly, you're playing all lights. Just sitting on it and like getting over any troublesome monster is just that much better. Okay, on to my very short spell lineup. Rhoda's now at 1, so I'm just playing 1 copy. 1 copy of Soul Charge, just to bring back, you know, not only Tellers, but my Seraphs as well. Unfortunately, you don't get to attack, but the more Seraphs you bring back, or the Tellers that you bring back, you just get their effects off, and you can still continue to make a lot of great plays. 1 Regeki just to nuke the board. Book of Moon, always a good card. And lastly, 3 copies of MST. Just getting rid of back row, and now that pendulums are coming into the game, you gotta just get rid of them and make sure they don't get their pendulums off. On to traps, I play 3 copies of Stellar Nova Alpha. It negates pretty much anything. All you do is tribute a Tellarknight you control, and then you get to draw a card. Three copies of Fiendish Chain. Fiendish Chain is really good because it is a continuous, it stays on the field. You get to stop an opponent's ability. You can use it just to have their monsters not attack as well. And whenever you use Trigger, you can just return this card back to your hand and set it for another play. Same for 3 copies of Call of the Haunted. Activating this during the end phase of your opponent's turn just gives you so many pluses. You could do so many good setups to get your tellers in grave, and then you can just activate this, bring them back, set up a board, set up your hand for your next turn, and it's still your opponent's end phase. And again, it's a continuous for Trigger to just return, and you can just continue plays. 2 copies of Mind Crush. Mind Crush is really good now that every deck is searching. They're going to search for the cards they need, they're going to show you what they added, and then as soon as they have resolved that card effect, you can then activate Mind Crush because you know what they added. So you can just get rid of that card before they can use it against you. And then your basic one of staples, I'm playing 1 copy of Mirror Force, 1 copy of Vanity's Emptiness, and 1 copy of Solemn Warning. So Mirror Force is really good for just getting rid of your opponent's monsters, and then Solemn and Vanities just so they aren't summoning. So that's it for the main deck. Moving on to extra. I play 2 copies of Deltaros. Deltaros is your main extra deck monster. It's especially good when you bring it out using your Seraphs. His effect is you can detach 1, pop a card, but also while it's on the field, when you summon, your opponent can't activate anything on those summons. So you're protected from Bottomless, Torrential, or even cards like Breakthrough Skill. Things that would negate your teller's effects. Your effects will always go through as long as you have Deltaros on the field. And another nifty ability is if it does end up getting destroyed, you can always go into the deck and then special summon. You'd usually want to go Altair because you can bring back cards and then just continue to swarm the board. Two copies of Trigger. Trigger is your next boss monster. Whenever it's summoned, you get to return all other cards on the field back to the hand. So your opponent's board is guaranteed to be empty for a direct 2100 attack. I'm playing 1 copy of Rhapsody and Berserk. Rhapsody's really good because it can banish not 1 but 2 monsters from your opponent's graveyard. You can activate that effect, detach 1, banish 1, but you can activate that twice per turn. And also you can equip it onto an Xyz monster and give it 1200 additional attack points. Kergorgon Antiluminescent Light. It's a weird name, I know, but it's pretty good because if your opponent would want to target something, you can detach and then you get to decide the target. So if they were to like compulse, for example, you can just target their monster instead and it goes back to hand. Abyss Dweller, it's really good for just card effects that activate in grave. Clown Blade's getting a lot of popularity, so just having Abyss Dweller to stop those plays are really good. Gaga Cowboy for some burn. Playing 1 copy of Castel. Castel's really good for returning cards to the deck that are just causing problems for you. And I play also a copy of 101. He's just there to absorb an opponent's monster that's causing trouble. Also, his ability to prevent destruction is really good as well. Okay, I'm also playing a small Constellar lineup. I'm playing Omega. Omega is just used for protection against back row pretty much. I play one copy of Pleiades. You might be wondering how I can summon it. I will get to that in a moment. One copy of Diamond. Diamond is really good against the Dark deck matchup because it negates all of the Dark Monsters effects. Also, if they wanted to return a card from grave back to hand, that card is banished instead. I'm playing one copy of number 86. I'm often able to get 5 materials on him after they would destroy Deltaros, because when Deltaros is destroyed you get to summon one from deck, and then usually you continue on a chain where you're able to summon 3, 4, even 5 Tellarknights from just the destroyed Deltaros. And then you would just use all of those materials, giving him all of those abilities. He has to lose a material each of your opponent's end phases, which isn't too bad because if you have all 5, it's pretty much game. So with 5 materials, he destroys all cards your opponent controls. With 4 materials, your opponent cannot normal or special summon. With 3 materials, it is unaffected by other card effects. With 2 materials, its attack and defense doubles. And with 1 material, it cannot be destroyed by battle. So, getting all 5 of those materials is just pretty much game over. And lastly, I play one copy of Tellarknight Ptolemy. It's 3-drop ability. It's actually also the only teller that you'd need to use for 2 materials, but you can use like 3, 4, even 5 materials and overlay into Ptolemy. Its drop 3 ability will give you the ability to summon Pleiades, or you could even summon Diamond if you don't want to use its rank up ability. But if you decide to continue to attach other materials during the end phase, I'd usually only do that if it does have already 5 materials, but you can use other Tellarknight extra deck monsters and just attach them as materials. And then once it accumulates 7, you get to detach, you get to skip your opponent's next turn, and then that is pretty much game as well. Soon Infinity's gonna be coming out, so I'm probably gonna have to try and find room for Nova and Infinity, because going Ptolemy, Nova, then Infinity is also another great way to pretty much finish off your opponent. So there you go, guys. That was my Star Seraph Satellarknight deck. I hope you guys liked it. Remember to comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.